Steve and Jill here.
Happy day.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show. Welcome to Friday. Entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about scaling your real estate operation. You know, one of the things I'm going to talk about too is what the difference is between scaling something and repeating something.
Okay.
It's a very misused term in my opinion. And whether or not something is scalable is a question I ask myself before I start anything new.
Right.
Anything. Because if it's not scalable, and certainly if it's not repeatable, and I'll give lots of examples, honestly, it's not worth your time. So there's probably a lot of things that you could remove from your life that are not going to ever amount to anything because they're not scalable or repeatable. Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
I got to tell you, I was thrown there because I was waiting. I'm like, wait for it. There's always like, I had a relationship like that. Well, then you can't see my face. You always come in with, Stephen was just moving my mic. So if you weren't watching, that was just what's happening there. So yeah, he was like moving it right in front of my face. I'm like, well, that's not nice.
The amount of stuff that I have to do as a producer to circumvent Jill's, and I say this lovingly,
I put it here purposely.
Jill's behavior while we're recording the show.
Behavior.
Like,
calling it my behavior.
I'm not talking to the mic today.
Behavior.
I'm going to laugh exceedingly loud today.
Behavior? Steven. All right. Anyway, my point was I was waiting for you to come up with something, and you did. Oh, you don't disappoint. You came up with some other little thing to throw in there, so thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, back to the question. All right, Stephen K. asks, so I visited some lots I own and tried to use Google Maps in offline mode on an Android phone. This is funny.
But you know what? This is for you.
Good. Wait. Tech support, Jill.
This is a.
All right.
I know that you know the answer to this better than me.
Okay. So we're out there on our Android phone. Well, there's a problem there. We're in offline mode, and there's another problem. Sorry.
I knew this is a driving for $1 situation. I put this in here specifically because I didn't tell you about it because I want to hear your natural reaction.
All right, my first. Okay, wait. This is going to be good. Okay, it's to determine where the lot GPS coordinates were, and I was totally useless. It was totally useless as I did not have cell reception. Really? I was under the impression the GPS function would work without a cell signal.
Wait. Stop right there.
Oh, my goodness.
Why? Hold on. Why would a GPS system work if you don't have a cell connection?
For satellites.
So your phone's all set up to connect to a satellite? No, stop.
It's not. That's the problem.
Not. Go ahead.
But, okay, so anyway, it bounces off other things. So anyway, well, the first fatal flaw is, why are you out there?
I knew you were going to do this with this topic. And whoever...
Why?
We're not...
Did you go more than an hour?
Whoever you are asking this question, we will answer it and all that. And we're having some fun. It's not at your expense, but this is we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Ties into the show we were just watching. So what are you using as an app? And are you using a dedicated GPS device like a Garmin or TomTom to be able to do this? Also was wondering about useful GPS apps that do not require a monthly fee, as do not need to do this on a regular basis, like My GPS Coordinates or Back County Navigator as examples of apps as a phone, if a dedicated device is not a requirement. Thanks. So basically, you know what? We are limited with our cell phones. And to be honest with you, I'm going to go out. We just talked about this recently. I am going to go get a formal handheld. I used to have one. It was a clunky one for flying GPS thing, and I want to get a smaller handheld new device. For me personally, because I want to know what elevation I'm at. Our phones can't handle all this stuff yet.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the answer to the question.
Okay.
There's not an app for everything.
Yeah.
This whole generation believes that there's an app for everything. There's not an app for everything.
Exactly.
There's stuff that requires professional equipment.
Yeah.
And reading the manual.
Yeah.
And chilling out about the whole thing.
Right.
And if you're going to go out and buy or look at rural vacant land, you need bring a bunch of water, a bunch of extra fuel. You need to do it in a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and assume you're going to get stranded out there.
Right.
You need a secondary means of communication, whether it's a citizen band radio.
Yeah.
You need all
Mapped it
kinds of
out.
stuff.
Or told someone where you're going, like there's a reason why you file a flight plan.
I don't
In
want
case
to
you don't show up where you're supposed to be, they know how you were going.
I don't want to sound like your father here, but you can't just take a phone out,
and expect
to get GPS coordinates.
In rural vacant areas. Yeah, you are going to be dead in the water there.
Exactly.
And not have
maybe dead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's true. But yeah, I would get it. So, and I'm going to do it too. And I'm going to put that on my little shopping list here.
I'll buy one for you, Jill.
I'm going to get a good
Jill, I'll get
small
you
one.
Get you one right
because
when we're done here.
I want to know. It is kind of fun to have, by the way. Remember the one that I had? I mean, we used to use it to check my speedometer going, yeah, I really am going, 62. It's the
cell phones work on a cell tower basis. So, and they're all based on the vast majority of the performance of a cell phone network is in urban areas. It doesn't make sense for a cell phone company to cover rural vacant area.
Right.
GPS goes straight to a satellite, from your device to a satellite. So it's theoretically, you have reception everywhere, but it's prone to weather, dramatically prone to weather, and line of sight. So if you're in a cave, it's probably not going to work as well as you're on top of the cave. So these are really basic things that need to be considered before you go look at land.
Can I say something too? Even with these handheld devices, the paid versions, the paid subscriptions are better coverage.
Yeah.
Here's a good example, even to tell you what your device can do versus a formal GPS. How many of you have been using Waze and you're on, or your Google Maps or something, and you're on the freeway, not the frontage road or whatever, or the frontage road, not the freeway, and it's telling you need to be over here, but you really are over here. It picks, you're almost on the right road, but it thinks you're not. Well, there's a reason why. It's not the best equipment and not the best service. It's not picking up on the top-notch stuff. So that's what
stuff's prone to fail.
So, that's funny.
I would also recommend getting a map.
Yeah.
Now I sound like a grandfather.
I would have it mapped out.
I would get, if you're buying property in Arizona, you can get a whole street map that's a book.
Yeah.
And you're going to pretty much basically know where you are, hopefully.
California, it's a Thomas guide.
Yeah.
So I would have mapped out my plan as a backup, and then you would have known, I should have made that left back there, even though my phone just died. Because otherwise you're out. I can just imagine. Here's what I can just imagine. This poor individual standing on the hood of his car, on the roof of his car like this, trying to figure out where he is, okay,
I've seen it. All this stuff's happened to me. That's why I know.
Yeah.
I've gotten stuck out there without a winch. Now we use a winch if we go out there, which we don't anymore.
Right.
I've run out of gas and walked 10 miles to a rancher who gave me, I had to pay $20 for a couple gallons of gas, which I had to siphon myself. If you've ever siphoned gas, you get it in your lungs if you don't know what you're doing. So I have story after story after story. I've stayed in in a back of a truck stop bathroom. Honestly, all this is long before Joe.
Okay.
You know why? Because there's no internet back then.
Yeah.
And the cell phones that we had were, even in an urban area, were useless.
Phones. They didn't
It was
have
before that.
We were just watching a show. We're on other side note, but we're watching that show. Was it called The Killing or something?
Yeah.
On Netflix, a really cool series, and it was done in the 2010s.
Ish, yeah.
So think about this, everyone. This was not even 10 years ago. So 9 years ago, and I'm looking at them going, they have a flip phone, number one. And then they were trying to figure out where a person had been, and they broke into their car. They stole the GPS. I'm like, remember those? And they had the Garmin, the big ones. It looks like a tablet.
On a dashboard.
Yeah, and they took it off the person's car, and because they could go back and see the last 10 addresses they had typed in. I'm like, I remember that. It seems like it was forever ago, but it was 9 years ago or less that we were still doing that. It's
Imagine
amazing.
10 years from now.
Right? We're gonna laugh at our phones and the stupid things on our phones and our maps.
might have actual GPS hardware in it.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. Hey, again, we're not picking
It's
on
cool.
anybody here.
No, yeah.
It's just
sorry.
you just got to be careful when you go out there.
Yeah.
Jill's a pilot, so she's all equipment out, and I've been a boater my whole life. So our garage is packed full of equipment, like stuff like this.
It's true.
Today's topic: scaling your real estate operation. This is the meat of the show. Let's talk about the definition of scalability and repeatability. If you write a book, or if you write a piece of software or an app, and you write it once, you can sell it 20 times or 20 million times or 200 million times. That's scalable. All the work's done up front. If you write an app like Uber app, scalable. You can just launch it into another country. It's basically all there. Or if you write our book, same thing. You can sell 10 copies or 10 million copies. That's truly scalable. The best example is software. Think of Windows. There's a reason that Bill Gates is the most wealthy person in the world. It was brilliant. It's an operating system that everybody needs.
Right.
It's the operating system that Apple is based on.
Right.
Boy, I'm going to get some emails on that because some people say it's the other way around. Anyway, repeatability is McDonald's. So I have a very successful restaurant, a single location. If I put one in the next county over, awesomely successful. Let's keep repeating it. Let's do it all over the world. Same thing, stamp it out.
Mm-hmm.
Both of those business models are fantastic. Here's what's a perfect example of what you never want to do. And I talk about this in our first program as an entrepreneur. I'm a salesman, and I bought a bunch of brooms from China. They're shop brooms. I'm going to go walking around this industrial complex. Everybody needs brooms to clean up after what they're doing.
Right.
I'm going to sell some brooms. There's
Right.
8 hours in a day. I'm going to sell 20, maybe 30 brooms a month, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm keep walking around, and you'll never get anywhere.
Right.
Here's another good example, a medical doctor. There's 8 hours in a day. You can only do 2 or 3 operations a week or some number like that, depending on your specialization. Or you can only see a certain number of patients in an 8-hour day, and that's it.
Right.
Or if you're a high-end restaurant, you only have a certain number of seats.
Yeah.
And if you turn the seats twice in a best-case scenario every day, that's it.
Right.
The vast majority of businesses are not scalable, and they're not repeatable.
Right.
You don't want to put yourself in that situation.
I love it. No, I'm waiting for you. What's next? I'm like,
So what do you do in your real
Excuse me,
estate
I'm
business
taking
or in your
notes.
real estate operation to make sure you don't fall into this trap? You make sure that instead of obsessing on the real estate itself, we talked about this yesterday, that you put yourself in a system, you create a system,
Right.
and you get people involved under you or affiliated with you to do the stuff that you don't want to do or that's time consuming,
Right.
and you do the stuff that matters so that eventually you can do 100 deals a day.
Right.
And we've done that.
Right.
Maybe not 100, but darn close back in the
Right.
day. So it's all about systems and scaling and repeatability. And you want to design it if you can. If you have the luxury, well, you do because you're involved in Land Academy right from the beginning.
Right.
You don't want to make all the mistakes like I did and sit there saying, Jesus, I worked for 12 hours and I got half of one deal done.
Yeah.
You don't want that.
Right.
And that's all because I was on the phone too much,
Right.
which is incredibly inefficient.
Not making decisions fast
I'm
enough.
taking calls from potential sellers because I just sent the mailer out. I'm taking calls from title agents. Pretty soon the day's gone or the week's gone or
Right.
the month or the year is gone.
Right.
You're not hitting your numbers and you're wondering why. This is a big topic for us at live
Exactly.
events
Yeah.
because people get stuck with this all the time because they're good at it. They sent the mail out.
Yep.
They did a bunch of deals, but they're just not like, it always comes to light in this sentence. I love it. It works. I love doing it, but I can't make enough money to quit my job. I can't
Right.
just get out of second gear. And it's because of planning and delegation.
Exactly.
So you want to plan for scalability and manage your time really well and stop doing the stuff that doesn't matter.
Thank you. I think this comes back to me is if you understand this concept, you understand why driving for dollars is stupid. You have 8 hours in a day and how many business cards in your hand? Really? Even if you would do better if you did not drive for dollars and mailed out your business card to everybody in that zip code. That would be better than driving for dollars. Totally serious.
It takes the same amount of time, plus or minus 10%, to send out 100 offers as it does 100,000 offers.
Exactly.
And with predictable results. If you're pricing it properly and you follow our whole thing.
Exactly.
That's scalable. And then managing the inbound flow, you're going to get a tremendous amount of inflow. Have somebody like Pat Live answer your phone. So now you've taken that off of your plate.
Right.
You have somebody analyze the deals and set them all up for you in ParcelFact like a virtual assistant overseas.
Right.
Now you've taken the due diligence off your plate. So every morning, if the world is perfect and you know what you're doing, you're waking up, you're reviewing a bunch of deals because they got past the phone process, they got past the due
Right.
diligence process. I'm oversimplifying, but this is how it should work.
Exactly.
And you're going to say, yep, I want to do this deal, and I want all these rests not to be done. Here, personal assistant, please complete
Get
these
'em done.
transactions. Let me know when you need funding. I'll sign the stuff. Or if you're like us, you give them actually authority to sign it, and other people in your office are notaries, and you got it all set up.
Right.
That is scalable.
Yep.
And if then you send out another 100,000.
Yep.
Wow, Jill has nothing to say
I
today.
don't. This is kind of your kind of thing. You know, there's shows that I come in and I'm like, I have a lot to say. This is my topic. I know what I want to get the point across. And this one is one of yours, and I'm just letting you go. So
Our operation, and we handle a lot of different asset types
Yeah.
in a pretty high volume. And I have to say, it's incredibly efficient.
Yep.
There's a few things. We have a few assets that we've owned too long, and Jill and I know exactly what they are. And you know why? It's because we didn't listen to our own advice.
yeah.
We have a house that we thought we could retail instead of wholesale, and we've owned it now for like 4 months. And it's just, which is no big deal because that's
Right.
about what it goes on in that
You
county.
paid for it. It's not like there's a mortgage on
But
it.
yeah,
But
we should have
Yeah.
wholesaled it.
yeah, and that's okay.
And those are the glitches you'll find. It's because you don't listen to your own advice.
Exactly.
Well, you've done it again. You spent another 15 minutes or so listening to the Land Academy show. Join us next time where Jill and I host another interesting episode.
And we answer your questions posted on our online community, landinvestors.com. It is free.
You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
Yeah, I didn't have much to add.
That's good, I guess.
Yeah, that's good.
It would have been awesome to know that before we started.
Well, you were going. I didn't have a chance to get it in there. I mean, so it was great. Wherever you are watching or wherever you are listening, please subscribe and rate us there. We are
Here's
Steve and Jill.
Information
An inspiration.
to buy undervalued property.